In the UK, general elections have the power to decide who represents the public in Parliament's House of Commons. While understanding it all can be a little tricky, we're here to break things down for you. Let's jump right in. The election. First things first, what is a general election? This is an election in which the public in all corners of the UK has the chance to pick the MP of their choice to represent their area, aka constituency, in the House of Commons for up to 5 years. Typically, there are a few different candidates to choose from, deriving from national political parties. To vote, members of the public will mark their chosen candidate with an X on the ballot paper, either in person or by postal vote. The candidate who receives the most votes from their constituents becomes the elected MP for that geographical region. General elections typically come about every 5 years. However, the Prime Minister can call for an earlier election if they gain approval from 2/3 of the MPs or if the government passes a vote of no confidence. So, now that we've cleared up the basics, let's dive into the key features in a little more detail. The candidates. We can't go on without mentioning the critical role the candidates and political parties play in general elections. Each party puts forward a candidate to run in each UK constituency, the main ones being the Conservatives, Labour and Liberal Democrats. There are also typically smaller parties and independents participating in the vote, with each aiming to win as many constituencies as they can. Government forming. Forming a government can be a little tricky sometimes. The party that wins the majority of the 650 constituencies forms the government. Plus, if it wins more than half of the seats in the House of Commons, it celebrates an overall majority. The party with the next highest number of seats becomes the official opposition party. More often than not, the opposition party's leader scrutinises current government actions and offers alternative policies for improvements to win the favour of the public. Despite this, securing that desirable overall majority isn't always the case. Sometimes, the coalition government comes into play. If no party grabs the overall majority, a coalition government is formed between 2 or more political parties that can join to cover an appropriate number of seats. On the other hand, a minority government may also be formed, wherein the party with the most seats would form the government or require support to pass legislation. These two situations are often known as a hung parliament. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is essentially the head of the government and the leader of the political party that forms the government. Members of the public don't actually vote for a new Prime Minister in a general election, only the local constituency's MP. So, who chooses the Prime Minister, I hear you ask? Well, the monarch appoints who they think is worthiest of ruling, guided by constitutional conventions. After voting, the winning party's leader will step up to the job of commanding the House of Commons. The first past the post system. The first past the post electoral system is used in UK general elections, basically meaning that the candidate with the most votes in a constituency becomes that area's MP, even if they fail to get an absolute majority. So, what do the public think of how general elections are run? Some reports show that voter turnout in recent elections may be in decline due to their discontent with the disproportionality of the general elections voting system. The UK sometimes witnesses staggering levels of disproportionality in how votes are shown in parliamentary seats. After all, the first past the post system neglects the public's desire to support increasing number of parties over time. In other reports, Robert Ford claims that a more proportional electoral system would make British democracy healthier and more responsive to progressive voters' priorities. At the same time, senior research fellow at NatSen, Sir John Curtis, said that the Constitution seems to be at risk of becoming a political battlefield on which the parties seek electoral advantage. So, what do you think? Is the UK's general election system appropriate? Or does it need to be adjusted to meet the public's needs? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for upcoming educational videos, and don't forget to like and subscribe.